Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats as kings and queens and presidents of nations and many countries. Hallelujah. It's always an honor to be here. Last year I was here. It was so beautiful, and this year even looks more promising and more beautiful. You see, the problem is that when you're called to speak after such an energetic performance of music, sometimes you get confused. You don't know whether you should talk or you should also sing or you should start shouting, because the energy in the room becomes, that's the right word. Oh. You see, somebody shouted, Iyes, you have to respond. Eza. Thank you so much, my own big brother, Prophet Brian Amwate. Today I haven't seen our big brother around. I saw him yesterday. I was following the program yesterday night. I saw him. That was very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the youth of this country. And to all of us here in gathered. Now, if you're here with your if you're here with your phone and you are not posting Iyes and you are not telling people to follow online and to join us, please take out your phone. Everybody needs to post about Iyes 2026. Those of us with phones, please, let's take out our phones, whether it's your WhatsApp status. Let's take a picture of the setting, the auditorium, or if it's a flyer, whether it's on X, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's your WhatsApp status, whether it's on TikTok, wherever it is. Please, I need you to post about Iyes 2026, because the youth of this country need to know what is happening here. I've seen some very beautiful faces, some I know from a distance, some I know personally, some I met last year here. Once again, as I said, I'm extremely privileged to be here. I saw my brother Ralph around. Where is he? Where's Ralph? He's sitting in the corner there. He stepped into the room, okay. And I see my other brother in a Nigerian jersey. I thought you would have come here in a Ghana jersey. But he decided, please, and those of you who don't know him, is one very popular social media content creator, Parrot Math, right? Please, let's give it up to him for all the beautiful work he's doing. Please, stand up, let's acknowledge him there. But he's Ghanaian by association. But he was born in Nigeria. But today, I don't know whether he's Ghanaian or he's Nigerian. Are you from Kwewu and Volta region, or where are you from? Tinubu is from, I didn't say it, he said it. So please, today you are Ghanaian. And the whole of March, you have to put on the Ghana jersey. If I see you in a Nigerian jersey, we'll take you back to Nigeria. So give it up to young people, of course. Young people who are making sure that the geographical demarcation of their country doesn't become a boundary to them. They are selling, they are moving, they are creating content across the globe, across the world, and that is what we need as young people. Of course, for this year's theme, which has to do with transgenerational issues, we beg to ask different questions as young people. And mind you, today I'm not here to deliver a speech as a CEO, but interact with the many young people for us to know what the issues are. First and foremost, the question I would want everyone to ask seated here is, what if the idea sitting in your mind today becomes the solution that transforms millions of lives tomorrow? Just think about it. What if the idea you have in your head, whether it's an idea to create a business or it's an idea to start something, what if that idea is what will transform the next generation of the globe. The second question you should ask yourself is, what if the skill you have is what the world actually needs? What if the skill you have today is what the world actually needs? The third question I want us to ask ourselves is, what if the courage you have is what the world actually needs? And mind you, we have seen people transform this world, not just by being politicians or leaders. I have seen musicians transform this world and change mindset. We can talk about the likes of very renowned musicians across the world, talk about Michael Jackson, talk about Bob Marley, talk about Don Moen, CeCe Winans, etc. They are using music world. So you don't need to be a politician or a president, strictly speaking, before you can transform this world or transform your generation or beyond your generation. Now, if we talk about transgeneration, it means that what you do should have moved from one generation to another. And researchers have told us generation just means during your time of living. So if I live for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, that is my generation. What would you do or would you have done that would impact beyond your generation? One of the key things you need to look at is what were or are the needs of your generation at the time you were in existence. Now, let me take you back to 1957. At the time, most of the African states were yearning for independence. It took a very young man, so courageous, who had a vision and was willing to take the risk to fight for the independence of Ghana, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He's dead and gone. 69 years down the line, we still talk about him, we sing about him, and we respect him for what he did, not just for his generation, but generations beyond him. What do you see here? You see courage. You see someone taking opportunity of the needs of the time. And you see the person taking a bold step to fight for independence. So you do not impact generations by just sitting and hoping that your name will be written on stones with indelible ink. No, you need to think beyond your generation. Beyond that, let's even go into technology. I remember Doc was talking about the fact that during their time, they were writing letters. Even though I look young, I belong to the letter writing generation, where you write, and it was funny, we had what we call writing pad. It had some flowers around it, and we had skills in writing the letters. As for the content, I won't talk about the content. But we had skills in writing the letters. And, I went to a boys' school, so sometimes you write a letter to a girl, and they'll seize the letter and read it in front of the dormitory and tease the lady you wrote the letter to. So you develop your own skill in writing the letter. You can write the first line here, go and write the second line at the back, then write the third line somewhere. And only the girl you were writing to knew how to read the letter. Coded. So her school mother will seize the letter, but she can't read the letter. It's just you and her. During vacation, you show yourselves how you write each other letters. But things have changed. The generation of letter writing is past. Now, I don't remember the last time I even saw. Now, the only letters we see is admission letters. Oh? Even now, the admission letters is email. They send you the mail. Or even now, they WhatsApp. The school even WhatsApps it to you. You go online, you download it on I think they used to call it iEnabler or something. You download your letter, you go and pay the fees. Now, everything is electronic. a generation of letter writing is past. There was a generation where we used to have, as he said, we used to have CDs, and there was something called Walkman and Dixman. Everyone had headphones, and that was what was happening. That generation passed. Then we came to a generation of, was it iPod or something? iPod with the music. Thank you. That generation passed. Even the generation of phones. We had 3310. We had 3310. And if you didn't have a 3310, you were not part of us. You were not part of society. Then iPhone came, a new generation. When it came, we didn't understand what meant by touching the screen and it was working. It took time for us to actually accept it. But it took a very courageous CEO at the time who pushed through to tell the generation that you need to move from one generation, an old generation, into the new generation. But today we have all 5G, AI, doing a lot of things. And that is what we're talking about. We need to think beyond our generation. Today, as a politician, you cannot go and be shouting about independence. Who is talking about independence today? You don't have any colonial masters. Today, it is about economic emancipation. It is about bread and butter. It's about people's well-being. So for us, our main priority is how do we economically empower young people, not just within the boundaries of Ghana, but beyond the boundaries of Ghana and even in Africa. How can they take charge? And that is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has introduced so many programs to help many young people to emancipate them from the current economic hardship that we are going through. Talk about programs such as the Ejumara program, that is to help young people who have startup ideas, who are able to pitch programs or pitch business ideas and giving the startup capital for them to be given that stimulus package to be able to start businesses. Also talk about the National Apprenticeship Program, where he's training many young people in various skills to make sure there isn't that market mismatch, that a mason in Ghana can be valuable and useful even in Nigeria or Cote d'Ivoire or even in Mali, that a carpenter or someone who is doing joinery in Tamale can be useful far away, even in the Gambia. That is the skills that we're talking about. And of course, many programs such as the 1 Million Coders program to help many young people understand that we have moved from the days of letter writing and the days of typewriters to a world of 5G, 6G, and all the Gs and all the AIs. That is where we are. So you need to think beyond your generation. You need to think ahead of time. But the problem with us as young people, myself guilty, we are not interested in the future. We are usually interested in what are we going to get now. It is true. We need to know what we'll get now, but we need to be interested in what our future will look like. We need to be part of the planning of that future. And planning your future takes time. It takes time. It takes time. I was watching a preaching by, I think it was Joshua Selman. And he spoke about the fact that even if you receive prophecy, it takes time. Even when Mary received prophecy, she would give birth to Jesus Christ. It didn't happen today, tomorrow. It still took time. It still took 9 months. Even with the huge prophecy, he still grew like a normal person all the way. So for us to be able to impact our generation, it will not happen overnight. It will take some time. I know young people, myself, Pat, we don't have that patience to wait for that time. But if we want to live in the world that you and I dream of, the world so like the United States, the world like the UK, it took them time. Most of those countries are like 500 years ahead of us. When they started developing, we were still under colonialism. It takes time. It takes time to build. It takes time to change. It takes time for us to build the Ghana that you and I want. It takes time for us to reset what has been damaged. I know there are issues of unemployment. There are issues of youth unemployment. There are issues of young people who want to serve their country and not given the opportunity. I agree. Those are very fundamental challenges. But it will take time for us to build. Little by little, we will surely get to where we want to get to. It cannot be built in a day. And I can say without an iota of doubt or equivocation that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is committed to building the Ghana we all want. And that Ghana we want will take some time. And you can see He's moving in the right direction, and He's moving. What shall it profit a man to gain all the money and end up in the rehab? I've seen it happen. People say, oh, issues of substance abuse, issues of drug abuse has to do with economic challenges. No. I've seen, in fact, you have seen multimillionaires, you've seen celebrities, world stars, who ended up in some form of a substance abuse. And all their money goes down the drain. And you see them moving from one rehab into another. So beyond we fighting for jobs, for economic emancipation, for money, we're also fighting that young people should stay healthy and stay away from substance abuse. My minister, the Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opare-Addo, sends his regards, of course. And since I should tell you that there's a campaign we're all running called Red Means Stop. In our various schools, in our various homes, young people are trying all kinds of substances. Young people, instead of being busy in the chemistry lab, are busy mixing different kinds of chemicals just to get high and to get excited. And that is a challenge we all are facing. I believe my brothers and sisters in uniform in the various schools, they know what I'm talking about. Not only red, now they have them in different forms. They have trafenadol, they have tramadol, they have benylin with codeine. Once they take an overdose, they have all forms of the glue, there's red. I mean, all kinds of substances. And I ask myself, to what end? You don't have any problem. Your school fees is being paid for. Your parents give you pocket money. Just go to school, go and pass, and come back home. That one too, you say, boy. So please, let's stop red before red stops us. The last thing I'll talk about again, and it's on campuses, is the recent clashes in various institutions. And you ask yourself sometimes why they are fighting, and you can't even tell why they are fighting. Sometimes, if you actually, sorry to the big men, sometimes when you actually dig deep, you realize that somebody took somebody's girl. Secondary school or ally? Sometimes when you actually dig deep, you realize that somebody took somebody's something. And the person went to warn somebody. And they met at home and the person beat the person. So he says, when we get to school, I'll show you. So they get to school and know that they'll meet at Interco. And when they meet at Interco, everybody is coming with his crew. Then the fight starts. We've all been to secondary school, so we know how it works. But these days, the violence has become one too many. For us at NYA, we would come and speak to you. But if you are caught in the violence, you'll be handed over to the police and the CID. That one is beyond me. It becomes a criminal matter. Young people, you should be debating about ideas. You should be arguing about intellect and not physically fighting over things that will not benefit you or the nation. And it's sad that 21st century schools in faraway US, they are thinking of how to build apps to change the world, how to look for scientific methods to change the world, how to do things that will change the world, and we are here still dancing Jama and fighting at Interco. I'm not saying sports is bad. I'm not saying Jama is bad. But the fight is what is bad. And we need to watch it as young people. We're currently running a program on youth peace and security, which we would come to your various campuses. So just as we'll come to your various campuses on the Red Means Stop campaign, we'll surely come to your various campuses again to form various clubs on youth peace and security for young people to understand the essence of peace and the essence of security. And I think last year I made that example here. I am from a place where predominantly there's always conflict. But God being so good, the whole of this year, from January to March, there hasn't been conflict. Isn't it sad that I'm telling you that from January to March, there's no conflict in my area? I won't tell you where I come from. But we've had running conflicts. But God being so good, I think it was resolved in December, and we've enjoyed relative peace. And I remember I made that example here last year. 2 secondary schools in my hometown. Just a road separates them. One is a secondary school, another is a technical school. And they've had this running battle for a very long time. So one day they said they were going to have a peace talk. They should meet in the middle of the road and have a peace talk. Very honest idea. So the teachers, the headmasters came on the street. So this school came out, the other school came out. And that peace talk ended up with some of the students at the hospital. You know, as funny as it may be, it was true. Even at the peace talk, they fought. But who has violence helped? The days we needed fight were the days we were fighting our colonial masters. The days we were fighting for independence. The days of fighting for independence is long gone. Today, the youth of this country need to fight against poverty. In our various secondary schools, whatever you are fighting for, whether you are fighting for a girl or you are fighting for whatever, trust me, that girl in the next 2 years should go for the person who is driving a good car. Whether you like it or not, the truth is what I will tell you. If you go and fight over a girl now and you break your leg and they cut off the leg, she will go for somebody with 2 legs. If you go and they take off your eye, she'll go for someone with 2 eyes. So please, nothing is worth fighting for if it's not fighting against poverty. So please, my brothers and sisters, let's take these words seriously. And as I said, I wasn't here to... They wrote a very beautiful speech for me, but I didn't read it. I came to have a conversation with you. And I believe the conversation has been very, very fruitful. So permit me to welcome to you our own brother, YouTuber, Wudimaya. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he comes in. And of course, he's working with my very troublesome brother, Raf. Wudimaya, welcome, welcome, welcome. Raf, in your absence, I mentioned your name. And so this is the Raf I was talking about. So before I take my seat also, let me just say a few things. As I spoke about my Nigerian Ghanaian brother, the same work our own brother Udmaya is doing here. Very wonderful guy. He's able to sell our country to millions of people. Millions of people. Unbelievable numbers. Unbelievable. I watch some of his streams on YouTube. I see the good work he's doing. Udmaya, did they massage you some? The Korea? They gave you 1 day to go for the Korea change. That's not fair. Please, so Udmaya says he will let all of us go for the Korea change. So, of course, all the wonderful works they're doing, putting Ghana out there. And as I told you, if you want to go beyond your generation, you need to think beyond your age mate. You need to think beyond your generation. And people like them are going beyond their generation. They are what we call the transgenerational effect and impact on people. We want to thank them for the good works they are doing. Of course, they are youth of this country. I pray he uses his platform to teach many young people how to become like him, mentor many young people to be like him, to be like them, so that at the end of the day, we'll have many more Udmayas in the system who will be making a lot of money out there, not necessarily holding a brown envelope application for employment. You can use the tools that you have at your disposal to change the world and change your own mindset and change your own life. Nobody would hand everything over to you 100% hook, line, sinker. At a point, you need to thrive, you need to fight, you need to push through to make sure you get it done the way you want it and how you want it. As I told you, your life is in your hands, young people. Please, it's up to you to make good use of it or to make very bad examples of society. No matter how you turn it, you'll be used as an example. Either you'll be used as a good example or you'll be used as what? A bad example. And I believe that many young people here would want to be used as good examples. So God richly bless all of us.